CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. We begin tonight on the James Bay coast. Evacuations in Saskatchewan and Moose Cree First Nations are underway due to flood warnings. CTV's Lydia Chubak starts us off tonight.
It's been nearly 4 months since a water and sewage crisis forced hundreds of Saskatchewan First Nation members out of their homes. Around 500 members are in the community, with more than half out on the land for spring hunting. Last week, another round of evacuations began due to concerns over flooding.
We've been told that it's not a flood watch, it's a flood outlook, I guess, with the reports that we're getting. MNR is saying that it's a high risk for this year. So we've initiated last week to kind of get the vulnerable community members out of the community, and it's mandatory for families that are still there to be flown out.
Crews are monitoring river conditions, ice thickness, and consulting with traditional knowledge keepers.
We don't want to take unnecessary risks for our people, and it is high this year. It is worrisome.
Flooding worries are compounded by Saskatchewan's water filtration and sewage systems, which remain under repair. Wesley says residents may be able to return home as early as July, but he warns that timeline is uncertain.
They're just uncovering more and more things that need to be fixed, so that's what's taking time. Plus, to dig up the earth at this time where the mainline valves is quite challenging due to the weather.
Meanwhile, Moose Cree First Nation is also in the process of evacuating its members for the first time ever.
You know, their emergency control group that we're working with here daily, like what a group. They've really stepped up and have done a tremendous job for their first time having to deal with this evacuation.
Surrett says around 700 people will be flown out, half going to Barrie and the rest to another municipality soon to be determined.
Understanding that the MNRF is going to start to fly the river this starting tomorrow. They're going to start monitoring the river. The usual process that they do. They're anticipating some warm temperatures.
Moose Cree First Nation is located on an island in the Moose River, while Saskatchewan sits on the Albany River, both flowing into James Bay. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
OPP have released photos of a rescue of 2 people from a flooded road last week as a reminder to steer clear of the water. Provincial police near Sault Ste. Marie were called in after 2 people got stuck in deep flood waters on Mile 28 Road just off Highway 17 in Goulet River. The road was washed out and the vehicle quickly became submerged. The 2 occupants climbed out on the roof of the truck and were rescued by Goulet River Fire and Rescue and Sault Search and Rescue. Police reminding everyone to stay off flooded and closed roads as the conditions could worsen. Well, new tonight, officials in French River are anticipating the next few days will be critical as its state of emergency continues. Not only are they watching the weather, they're watching for what could be coming down the watershed. Highway 607 may be closed, but life has carried on in Dry Pine Bay. The Murdoch River has spilled its banks dangerously, covering the roadway, just one of a few sections being threatened by encroaching water levels.
Worst case scenario for French River is that we get another rain event like what we had last week or the week before. And that would be catastrophic at this point because the snow has melted in the upper watersheds and are now making its way to here.
Pajot says it's now in the hands of Mother Nature. The best case scenario would be more sunshine. It's clearly a prescription that Bob Yules would like to see more of. He lives in Dry Pine Bay. Yules says they love the area, its people, but they're not impressed with the water. He tells CTV News this will be the 3rd year they've seen flooding in the boathouse. The first time they were told it was a 1-in-100-year event.
We've had to replace the walls inside the boathouse, and we've been lucky. We put down new flooring in the boathouse, but the water didn't seem to bother it the last time, and all we had to do was clean it up. And the funny thing was we had to clean the crayfish out of it.
It helps to have a sense of humor, but it's clear this comes at a cost. financially, emotionally, and physically. At 81 years young, he needs back surgery. Thinking about having to sandbag by himself seems almost impossible. He says he'll do what he has to try and get it done.
It seems like every other year we're having flooding. So it's not a 100-year thing. Somebody, somewhere is not paying attention.
In the meantime, the mayor's crediting other communities along the watershed and dam operators in making sure French River doesn't suffer alone. She's also encouraging out-of-towners to check on their seasonal properties.
The water will go up again, and so the little bit of water that you lost over this week is coming back. And what we're hoping is that it's not more.
Mayor Pajot tells CTV News the community still has to be vigilant. She's put out a call for volunteers Saturday afternoon and hopes they can accomplish filling 1,500 more sandbags. The North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority has issued a flood warning for the Lake Nipissing shoreline in North Bay and Callander. Water is slowly rising on Lake Nipissing, and the Conservation Authority says significant snowpack remains in the northern areas of the watershed. Right now, the lake is about 36 centimeters below the highest daily average recorded in 2019, a year that also saw flooding. The Conservation Authority is expecting little rain, allowing water to drain through the watershed.
If we continue to have a dry period of time, this water can drain. The snow that's still in the northern reaches of the Lake Nipissing watershed can continue to melt without additional moisture from rainfall, and that'll be good.
The Conservation Authority has also issued a flood watch for the Mattawa River downstream of the Herdman Dam. And we're getting a look at the dam and Sturgeon River in Sturgeon Falls tonight, courtesy of Neil Brown. The dam is mostly open to allow water through from the northern end of the watershed. Flooding is creating problems for residents, with several road closures still in effect north of Sturgeon Falls infield. Highway 64, Leduc Road, Prieur Street, and Ashburton Road are all closed, along with LaPointe Road in Crystal Falls. Flood warnings and a state of emergency remain in effect for these areas. The township of Billings on Manitoulin Island is still under a state of emergency, but can breathe a little easier. According to Mayor Brian Barker, water levels have subsided since last week when the state of emergency was declared. A few homes had to be evacuated due to rising water, and those people have not returned to their homes yet. The mayor says area roads have been temporarily repaired, but proper repairs will still need to be done after water levels are back to normal.
What is still very, very critical is the river below Bridal Veil Falls. It's very, very dangerous. Most of our tourist trails have been washed away or severely damaged, and there's still quite a bit of high water and flooding and dangerous currents down there. So we're asking people to still be respectful and pay attention to our no trespassing signs and stay out of that area.
That closure is expected to last through the smelt season and could impact the upcoming tourist season. The falls are a major attraction for the area, and Barker says they don't know yet the condition of the tourist trails or if they'll be usable for the summer. The mayor adds the state of emergency won't be lifted until water levels have subsided and the township can assess the damage from the flooding. A flood has temporarily closed the new Sudbury location of a food bank. It happened Tuesday, and now the food bank will operate out of its downtown location until repairs are made. CTV's Elena Everson reports.
The water has been pumped out, but the damage is done. Repairs are now needed before the new Sudbury location of the Inner City Food Bank can reopen.
The challenge we faced was that we were walking in water almost over the top of our shoes, and it kept coming in. We couldn't stop it. The rugs were all just sopping wet and started to smell musty.
Canned goods are okay, but perishables needed to be moved quickly. Clients of the new Sudbury location will now be temporarily served at 251 Elm Street.
We don't waste anything. That is going to go downtown to Elm Street, and with our people from here being relocated, there's still a need for the food we have here, but it's unfortunate. We opened this place because the new Sudbury people had a real distance to get down to Elm Street.
Drago says the need for food assistance increases daily.
Minimum wage, and they have 2 or 3 children. It's impossible with minimum wage to look after a family. They have to pay rent. We have people living in cars.
Drago says the landlord, the D'Angelo family, is generously covering the costs of the flood repairs. So the food bank can spend money on meeting the growing need of helping people living with food insecurity. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Those Northerners dealing with damaged property due to flooding are also navigating the insurance process as they file claims. We get the details from CTV's Angela Campbell.
As the repair and rebuilding process begins, we will continue to keep everybody updated. But as for now, that's all we have to tell you.
We met Adam Smith last week when he was working to keep the main level of his business from flooding. Excess creek water overflowed into the streets in Mindemoya.
We actually went so far as to start removing some sandbags today, so that's a step in the right direction. Every day is an improvement, and the cleanup process has started.
Smith says the most impacted was the basement at Jake's Home Center, where floodwater destroyed hundreds of thousands of dollars of product being stored there. Smith met with an insurance adjuster today who assessed the damage and made a plan moving forward.
And to see some of the challenges that we particularly face here, because we're not half an hour away from a major center. So a lot of the decisions are being made in places that don't really know where Manitoulin Island is. So they've got to be able to kind of show that logistics are a little bit more challenging.
It's unclear when the insurance claim could be paid out.
We're still in the early stages, even just figuring out what's salvageable, what's not salvageable. So it'll be a while.
The Insurance Bureau of Canada says it won't know for another month how many insurance claims could be filed connected to spring flooding in Ontario. But the Director of Consumer Relations advises flood victims to record all damages and keep all receipts connected to cleanup.
The more information that you can provide your insurance company about your situation, whether that's photographs, video, receipts, all of that sort of information, the more quickly an insurance company can settle your claim.
Smith says he's optimistic about the situation, saying anything destroyed by the flooding can be replaced. And he's appreciative of all the help he's received from the Mindemoya and Manitoulin community. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Sudbury.
While warmer weather is expected in the next few days, flood warnings in the city of Greater Sudbury remain in effect around several waterways. Along the Vermilion River, Larchmont Drive, Centennial Park, Grassy Lake Road, Panache Lake Road, and Demera Road are under a flood warning despite water levels falling since the start of the week. Also under a warning tonight are the Onaping River in Dowling and Lower Junction Creek, which includes Simon Lake, Mud Lake, and McCharles Lake. Flooding and elevated water levels are expected on this section of Junction Creek and the Vermilion and Onaping Rivers for another week or more. Valcarron and Chelmsford remain under a warning along the Whitson River, and the Flour Mill and Nickeldale areas of the city along Junction Creek are now under a flood warning. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick will have your full weather forecast. For now, a look at the rain forecast, and this is what has many local leaders concerned. We do have a weather system making its way in from Michigan, and by about Friday afternoon, we're going to start to see it towards the edge, inching ever closer to Northeastern Ontario. By Saturday morning, Elliott Lake, Gore Bay, you're looking at 13 and 17 millimeters respectively, 19 in Chapleau as the time goes on. 11 p.m. Saturday, it's going to be a little more, and then that is going to be a lot, especially for those living along the Matagami, which are dealing with a flood warning. Here are the current conditions as we see them. We got cloudy conditions in Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, North Bay, partly cloudy conditions in Sudbury, Parry Sound, and Chapleau, 6 in Sudbury, 6 in North Bay, 10 double digits in Sault Ste. Marie and Parry Sound. Little chilly up around Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, and Kapuskasing Way. We'll have details coming up after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
We've got precipitation in the forecast for the Northeast. Right behind me, you'll see the effects of that as it moves in. According to Environment Canada, by about supper time Friday evening. So again, some light precipitation. You can also see some snow to the north. Let's check out some of the numbers now. Sudbury Nickel Belt, at least during the day tomorrow, mainly sunny. 10 degrees on Friday. Chance of showers on Saturday with that band of precipitation moving in, 13 degrees. Sunday, 16, 17 on Monday. Sunny skies. Tuesday, chance of rain. More of the same on Wednesday, 11 and 10. Your daytime highs just below normal. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, mainly sunny tomorrow at 11. Here comes the rain. Chance of showers on Saturday at 11. 15 Sunday, sun and cloud. Monday, sun and cloud and 14. Periods of rain for a couple of days. Tuesday and Wednesday, daytime highs 9 and 8. Again, below normal for this time of the year. Switching on over to Timmins Cochrane Campus Casing. Sunshine tomorrow at 10. Some sun and cloud on Saturday at 12. Sunday, we've got sun and cloud. Monday, sun and cloud. Some great daytime highs of 16 and 17. Bring on the rain Tuesday, Wednesday, 12 and 8. Chance of rain, 40% for both days. And in one case, above normal. The other case, it's below normal for your daytime high. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, sunshine tomorrow at 10. Some sun and clouds Saturday, 13. 16 Sunday, sunny skies. Monday, sunshine, 18. Chance of rain Tuesday and Wednesday at 40%, 13 and 10, your daytime highs. And a look now at North Bay, West Nipissing. Mainly sunny tomorrow at 12. 13 Saturday, sun and clouds. Sunday, sunshine. Monday, sunshine. 16, 18, your daytime highs. Pretty good temps there. Dropping down to 12 and 10 Tuesday, Wednesday. Chance of rain at 40% for both days. And again, very close to being normal for this time of the year. So it looks like we'll catch a bit of a break, maybe some light precipitation coming up by tomorrow evening. A couple of days of sunshine, then some rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. Back to you.
Thanks, Rick. Well, in other news, we're learning about 2 mill closures in the region. Interfor has confirmed it will be indefinitely curtailing operations in Nairn Centre and Go-Gamma. A spokesperson for the company said in an email to CTV the closures are due to ongoing weak market conditions and U.S. tariffs on softwood lumber, adding, quote, "We recognize the impact this has on our employees, their families, and the broader community." The company was not able to comment on how many employees will be impacted or when the closures will take place. A large section of Godfrey near Park Street was cordoned off by the Sudbury police tonight after a child was hit by a pickup truck. This was the scene just after the dinner hour in Copper Cliff. According to the GSPS, the child's injuries were serious, but they have since been upgraded to stable. Investigators could be seen photographing the area and using a drone. No word yet on charges. The road has since reopened. There was a small house fire on a home under construction in the Sudbury community of Garson tonight. This was the scene in the 0 to 100 block of Birch Street just after 9 o'clock this evening. Flames were reportedly visible. Sudbury's Fire Chief Robert Grimwood telling CTV News tonight crews were able to quickly extinguish the blaze. Grimwood says damage is minimal and there are no injuries. Parents are expressing concerns surrounding the right sizing of Levack Public School that could see an entire wing demolished. A petition has been launched in hopes of halting the plans. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
Dana Littlejohn is the parent council chair at Levack Public School. She says when students left last June, they expected to return to yard improvements, but didn't.
The answer was we're due to be right-sized. And so because we're due to be right-sized, no other upgrades can occur until we're right-sized.
According to a letter sent to parents by the Rainbow District School Board, the board approved a motion in 2019 to right-size the school, pending Ministry of Education approval. Levack Public School is currently operating at 39% capacity. The school, which was built as a high school, is able to accommodate 351 students, but enrollment is currently below 135. Littlejohn says the proposed demolition would see an entire wing of the school taken down.
Our school's kind of an odd shape, so it creates a square, and then there's this little wing that branches off of it. But in the main of our rectangle, We have a full-size staff lounge because it was a high school. We have a full-size cafeteria, full-size gym, full-size library. It's not a lot of classroom real estate that would be left.
CTV reached out to Magic Triangle, which operates the daycare based in the school, for comment, but did not receive a response. The Ministry of Education also received multiple requests from our newsroom that went unanswered.
Lots of our community had no idea that our school is even on proposed right sizing, which was kind of unfortunate.
Little John says she has started a petition that Nickel Belt MPP France Jelena will bring to the Legislative Assembly in early May. The petition, which already has over 400 signatures, urges the government and the board to halt any right-sizing or demolition plans and to support the continuation of previously planned school repairs, upgrades, and capital work. The letter from the board also says no work is scheduled to take place this school year. At this time, discussions with the ministry are ongoing. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Still ahead tonight on CTV News. The North Bay Humane Society says it has a problem on its hands. Too many kittens. More in a moment. Almost $69,000 in drugs were seized as part of an ongoing investigation by the Sudbury Police. That from its Drug Enforcement Unit, which says it concluded an investigation into people believed to be trafficking drugs in the city. Warrants were executed for locations on St. Anne's Road and Louis Street. During the search of the St. Anne's home, police say they found cocaine, fentanyl, other drugs, and cash, and arrested 2 men for trafficking and other charges. No drugs were found at the Louis Street location. However, 2 people in the home were arrested. A fixture in Sudbury's Donovan neighborhood for nearly a century is preparing to close its doors. All People's United Church will hold its final service this weekend, marking the end of a 97-year chapter. CTV's Amanda Hicks has the story.
A lot of history in 97 years, that's for sure.
Photos, news clippings, and decades of memories are spread out at Sudbury's All People's United Church. As the congregation prepares for Saturday, they are reflecting on a legacy that began in the 1920s. Mona Campbell has been a part of the church for 65 years, a place where she said, "I do," and where her children were baptized.
Well, you have all kinds of emotions. At my age, I'm kind of looking forward to relaxing a little bit and not being so involved and so on, but it's sad also.
The decision to close was a difficult one. Officials say low attendance, changing neighborhood demographics, and an aging congregation made sustaining the facility impossible.
We're down to less than 10 people, and they're a dedicated group. They're a very loving group. They work really hard, but they're tired. And, you know, what can you do? This is the challenge of life. And many churches are going through these things, that they need to finally accept that it's time to move on.
This church has always known how to rebuild. After a devastating fire in the 1940s, the community rallied to ensure the doors would reopen. For Chipka, the church was the setting for his earliest milestones, including being asked to read scripture when he was 8 years old.
Everybody came up, shook my hand, patted me on the back. I felt really good, so it's a real sense of family. And I think that to me says a lot about what church is, or any group, where people get together and share their lives.
The final service will be held this Saturday at 11 a.m. Chipka says while the building will eventually be put up for sale, the congregation hopes a new mission will find a home here to carry the legacy into the future. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
The end of an era. Finally tonight, officials at the Humane Society in North Bay say they have too many kittens. The Humane Society is looking for more people to adopt a new feline into their home. Cat and kitten season is challenging for the shelter because there is a shortage of accessible and affordable spay and neuter services in the north. The Humane Society normally cares for 20 to 30 kittens on top of all of its adult cats.
We're ready with our imaginary fire hoses to put out the kitten season fire. So we've got people on standby, rescues and agencies in Southern Ontario that are able to help with fostering and with the influx of animals that come from Northern Ontario and the surrounding communities. So we are a little bit better prepared.
The Humane Society says that if someone finds a litter of kittens, do not touch them or pick them up. Their mother is likely nearby. Instead, you're asked to call the Humane Society. Well, that takes us to the end of our newscast this Thursday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. The states of emergencies continue for a lot of us. Don't forget to check on your neighbors. Until tomorrow, thanks for watching. Good night.